I mean,
Yeah.
definitely with the NHL, the players, especially for the top 16 that are in the brackets right now, the players are phenomenal.
Yes.
Definitely looking at stats. You got some great players. But we'll get to that soon. What do you want to start with?
I think we just go right into it. Start with our predictions. East-West. Some surprise teams to be in there from when we were looking at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. Some not surprising, to be honest.
Right.
But I'm really excited about the. You know what I'm looking forward to is that the two wild card teams in the Eastern Conference were Western Conference teams last year. The Detroit Red Wings and Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm looking to see how they can mesh with these playoff teams because they're not familiar with these teams.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. For those, I guess can we go into the picks?
Yes, of course.
I mean, for the picks, I'm going to be honest. I have the Bruins coming up on top of the Red Wings in 5 games, and I got Pittsburgh beating Columbus Blue Jackets in 5 games.
The Boston Bruins, the President's Trophy winners.
I think the Red Wings are definitely going to put up a fight. The Red Wings have been in a playoff situation since 91?
Yes, 23 straight years.
23 straight years. Okay, and the Boston Bruins are coming off a big high, winning the President's Trophy. They had like a 20-game win streak at one point. They were just...
and they're the defending Eastern Conference champions.
Exactly. So you know what? I think the Red Wings are going to give them a run for their money. I think it'll be 5 or 6 games. In the bracket, I picked 5.
Yeah.
And I think the Bruins are going to prevail.
I would tend to agree. I would say Bruins in 6 because
6.
One, there is not a hotter player in the NHL right now than Gustav Nyquist.
Oh no,
not a hotter player right now. He's led the league in goals since the year 2014, the calendar year. But you can also never count out Detroit, as Mike Babcock is one of the best in the business.
Right.
This Detroit team, they were marred with injuries all season long. They didn't have Datsuk for most of the year. Henrik Zetterberg had injury problems. I remember he was out for about mid-November till the Winter Classic.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back to Nyquist real quick, he's deadly. I mean, he got 28 goals with 153 shots. His shot percentage right now is 18.3. That's high.
Yeah, that's
huge.
High.
That's huge. I mean, obviously, there's teams in the NHL that have maybe a little bit better. I mean, if you want to look at shot percentage, you can go to Stamkos. He's got like a 20.2 shot percentage, but he's only played in 30 games.
He missed about 3 or 4 months with a broken leg.
But
he missed the Olympics as well. So.
No, but definitely. I mean, you talk about Datsuk with 17 goals, Tatar with 19. Alfredson with 18, Cronwell with only 8, but he has 41 assists. He leads the Red Wings with 41 assists.
And he's
huge.
He is a mean hitter too, as well.
Oh yeah, he leads. He's tied with Alfredson right now with points, 49 points for the regular season. They are definitely players you have to watch out for. Both don't have that much penalty minutes. Cronwell with 44 minutes, which is good for 79 games that he played. Alfredson only 10.
Yeah, I mean, the Detroit, you never count them out. It's like you can never count them out. I mean, I had predicted them to beat Anaheim last year, and they had the Blackhawks. They were up 3-1, and then the Blackhawks went on a great run.
Well,
won the overtime in Game 7.
Quick was just on fire. No one could get past him.
Oh, last year?
Yeah, Quick.
Yeah, for LA.
Yeah, for LA.
Yeah,
the Kings. Ooh.
Yeah. But anyway, but when we were talking about the Bruins, though, I just don't see it happening because Boston, they've been playing together for like this. They've had essentially the same team since they won the Cup.
Yeah, pretty much.
But not only that, it's like they may have also had arguably the best offseason acquisition in Jerome McGinley.
Yeah,
led the team in goals. Last year, they had one of the best fourth lines in hockey with the Campbell, Thornton, Daniel Paille line.
Yeah, well, this year he's also leading in goals with Patrice Bergeron with 30 goals.
Yes, Patrice Bergeron. That man is a model of consistency right there, Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a shot percentage of 12.3, but I mean, he took 243 shots.
Yeah. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
The thing is with him, if you ask a lot of the stars in the NHL right now, that most of them say Patrice Bergeron is the hardest guy to go up against.
Yeah, and
forward.
If you get him with Krejci, Krejci, yeah, 50 assists.
Yeah.
He leads the points on the team with 69 points, but 50 assists, only 28 power play minutes in the box, penalty minutes. These teams, I was looking at these stats, these teams have a lot of great players that do not make mistakes. They're smart players. Yes. And that's really deadly. That's deadly in any sports situation, especially at a bracket like this. We'll get on to other matchups, obviously, but with these brackets, I was looking at them like I can't decide.
Yeah, I was confused only until like about a week ago how the playoff format would actually work because I know the 2 and 3 in each division would have each other. If this was a regular season, though, the divisions would have been different. Like Montreal and Tampa would have been 3-4 in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And now they have to play each other.
Yeah.
They've got to play each other. And
they got to play each other, and that should be great. And just to correct, I don't know why I went to the Kings when you were talking about the Blackhawks. I'm sorry. I was talking about Crawford.
Yes, Crawford.
He's insane, too.
Yeah, Crawford led the NHL in the playoffs last year, and it was either save percentage or goals against. I believe he led it in goals against, and Rask led in save percentage.
Rask is another one.
Crawford only had one trouble game in the Stanley Cup last year.
Well, if we want to talk Rask and Crawford right now, just really quick, their save percentages. Rask right now is at a .93, and Crawford's at a .917. So they're up there.
Yeah.
And like any other, you're going to hear when we talk about this, all the teams are up in the nines. You're not going to get a bad,
not a bad goalie.
No. Not at all.
I mean, people, when you break down, the struggling team, it seems like the one that I would be worried about with goaltending would be two teams. It would be Pittsburgh, because Fleury, always a good regular season, but he has been dreadful the last three
Yes,
playoffs.
Marc-Andre Fleury, definitely.
Marc-Andre Fleury last year single-handedly kept the Islanders in the series. And he could have been the reason why they lost to Philadelphia, a couple of years ago.
Right.
Speaking of Fleury, I've never seen a guy play as good in Game 7 as he did when they beat Detroit.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
In Game 7. That was the best
I feel like Fleury, with a lot of these goalies, very pressure oriented. If they're under pressure, they make some just awesome saves. I can't explain it because there's been saves I've seen this regular season. People putting their left leg up over their head, kicking it over on their.
Jonathan Quick.
Exactly, Quick.
Like Wheeler.
But you know what? To talk about Quick, we'll get to the West in a minute. But I think Quick is starting to lose it a little bit.
You think so? Well, he played in the Olympics. He could be a little worn out, but even with Quick, say something were to happen to him hypothetically, I wouldn't feel too worried with Martin Jones as the backup because he had a record start to the NHL for a starting career in the NHL career. He was, I believe, won his first 8 games and had 3 shutouts.
He's got a better save percentage than Quick now.
So Martin Jones, and they traded Ben Scrivens to Edmonton.
Yeah,
for Martin.
A lot of goalies traded this year.
Yeah, Ben Scrivens was doing wonderful as the backup, but they felt so comfortable with Martin Jones that they shipped Ben Scrivens, and they could have gotten more for him. They took a 3rd-round pick for Scrivens.
Well, hopefully that 3rd-round pick goes for them, goes well.
Yeah,
because we got teams like the Avalanche that have 4 goalies on roster. And
one of the Avalanche's goalies will be nominated for the Vezina as well. Simeon Varlamov will be nominated.
Yes.
That's from what I've heard from Bob McKenzie.
Varlamov just. I think it's great. He played so many minutes. Yeah. We'll get to the Avalanche later. I don't want to go too off topic, but let's go.
So we both agree with the Bruins beating Detroit.
I say Bruins with 5.
I don't think in 6.
I don't think the Red Wings are going to get more than 1 win, only because the Red Wings have been struggling this year. They've been back and forth with Toronto until the end, where Toronto started to drop off the face of the earth when it came to their playing. But I think because Detroit has been so injury just prone, I think it's going to take them a little while to build up, and I don't think they're going to be able to beat this Bruins team.
Yes, and not only that, it's just the Bruins. So they've been there, done that.
It's the Bruins too. You have Bruins, experience. Yeah. The same guys, like you said, from the previous playoffs. It really hasn't changed much.
And they're the in-your-face team. They score goals. They don't allow.
Quick.
And
they're quick at score goals too.
And they're big. They have a lot going for them right now. So I agree we agree with the Bruins. So
yeah, definitely. Let's move over to a team that had an injury. We're talking about Stamkos. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Montreal Canadiens.
And this is all the newly Atlantic Division. So
right, exactly. This is the Atlantic Division because we have the new Metro coming into play. Let's talk numbers with the Lightning. Let's just talk top to bottom real quick. Filppula with 25 goals. He's the top goal scorer right now. Stamkos with 25 as well. They're tied. Filppula and Stamkos both have 19. Filppula has 19.1 and Stamkos has 20.2 with their shot percentage. What they got to watch out for is Ratko Gudas. He's played 73 games, but he spent 152 minutes in the penalty box.
Yeah.
He only had 3 goals. He only had 19 assists. But those 19 assists with those 22 points, if he can produce an assist to help them have the go-ahead goal, you're going to have him in the penalty box. And power play is a big thing in playoffs. It's a big thing in any NHL game.
Yeah,
but a lot of teams really try to take advantage of the power play because it's playoff hockey. It's much more intense than regular season, even toward the end, and they need to make sure that people that are putting in over 100 minutes in the regular season, only playing 73 games, they got to make sure that they play smart and they don't give up stupid penalties.
And as you said earlier, to feed off your point earlier, these are the best goalies in the league that are going against us. They have to take advantage of the power play.
They have to.
They absolutely. But I would say that Tampa Bay, between this Tampa Bay and Montreal series, with Stamkos and our boy Ryan Callahan is killing it down there.
Yeah,
Ryan Callahan
Callahan, I'm really happy for him that he's doing really well down there. I have total respect for him. I'm sorry it didn't work out. I would love to see him stay on the Rangers.
He wanted too much money.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah, he wanted too much. He's not. The money he wanted. He said he wanted more, more than Kane, Taves.
Didn't he want like 47 for 7 years?
No, he wanted, I believe.
I heard 47.
I heard 49 actually.
49. Okay.
He was willing to go down to 6.5 a year, and then apparently the Rangers wanted to offer him 6. I mean, with the intangibles that he did bring,
right.
He maybe made his value worth a little bit more. But what he's doing for Tampa Bay right now, he was not doing with the New York Rangers.
Right, and you know what? I believe that the Rangers, in a business standpoint, I guess made the right call.
Yes.
I think so. I mean, if you got a guy who's not, he's a great leader, don't get me wrong, great guy, great player, but not putting up the points that he should be. I think Callahan is better than that, and he's proven it right now on this Lightning team.
Yes, maybe he just needed to change the scenery for the scoring.
I mean, Callahan in 20 games has put six goals up with 5 assists. Now, that may seem low, but when you transition teams, especially being a captain for another team, that's high.
Right.
I think your mental state and just everything, the move, even if you want to move or if you don't, I think I think that those those 6 goals in 20 games played are huge, monumental for Ryan Callahan and the Lightning.
And he also I was gonna say, but yeah, he doesn't play in a line with Stamkos either.
No,
he does not play in a line with Stamkos, so he's not a product of him at all whatsoever.
Right.
He's doing this on his own.
Mm.
The Lightning, the Lightning they do got good chemistry and talent as a team. I mean, they were disappointing last year.
I mean, Victor Hedman, if you want to just talk about chemistry and providers, not even goal scorers, he only had 13 goals, but he had 42 assists.
Yeah, Victor Hedman, one of the best defensemen no one talks about. His name is being thrown around as like maybe he won't win it, but in the Norris Trophy conversation.
Right, and also a big producer, obviously he's at the top of the points right now, is Palat. I hope I'm saying that right. I have trouble with these hockey names. But Andrzej Palat, 59 points. He's got a shot percentage of 13.9.
It will be called a trophy nominee as well.
He will.
Yeah.
He will. Let's go to the Canadians. We were talking about penalties. We had Gudas with 152 in 73 games. Brandon Prust, our left winger here.
Our former tough guy.
Yeah, it's a former tough guy. 52 games with 121 minutes.
I mean, a lot of those are from fighting majors, but Brandon Prust is also a smart enough player where
very smart.
He will not fight a lot in the
play. As a Ranger fan, us seeing it, we know he's smart.
The only time I remember him fighting actually in the playoffs when 2 years ago was when he fought Chris Neal of the Senators.
Oh, well,
that was long overdue.
Yeah.
He fought him. That was long.
Let's be honest with that one.
He was challenging him a lot, and then Neal finally dropped the gloves on him. I do remember that.
Right.
But about Montreal, I mean, I like the skill that they have. It just seems like they just haven't done anything in recent years.
Yeah.
So I look at a lot. I mean, I love Max Pacioretty as a player. What he had to go through after that injury.
Yeah.
Hit from Chara.
73 games. He's got 39 goals. He's at the top at 60 points.
Yeah. PK Subban second on the team in points. Then defending Norris Trophy.
43 assists.
Yeah. PK Subban's a stud. David Desharnais, the little guy.
Yeah.
A really skilled little guy though. Alex Galchenyuk is a rising star in the league. He did only have 31 points, but he played in 65 games. He did post a -12, but he's only 19 years old.
Yeah,
I think that's something you would expect out of a young player, but I think he's a rising star in the league.
Yeah, and definitely another person I would look out for is Thomas Vanek. I know he only had 18 games with 6 goals and 9 assists, but I would definitely not underestimate him.
15 points in 18 games. It's not a bad ratio.
No, definitely not.
Not a bad ratio. For the new team, it's better than our man Marty St. Louis for the New York Rangers.
Yeah, we'll get to the Rangers in a moment, but I mean, overall, top to bottom, my pick is Canadians.
Really,
Canadians in 6.
The status of Ben Bishop is a question mark.
Yeah.
Ben Bishop's been terrific for Tampa Bay this year. The starting goalie, big man, 6'7".
Yeah. 37 wins, 14 losses, which is great.
I don't know his status for the playoffs because he did get hurt. Anders Lindbach did do good in his absence.
Oh yeah, I mean he had 8 wins.
Montreal. The thing with Montreal is Tampa Bay. I mean, they're not too far off removed from the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago. They were disappointments the last 2 years. This year, they've really pieced it all together. I agree with you, Montreal in 6. If Bishop doesn't play starting game 1.
Okay.
If Bishop is ready, though, I like Tampa Bay in this series.
You know, I did like Tampa Bay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did like Tampa Bay. They're coming off a battle. Losing Martin St. Louis, gaining Ryan Callahan is definitely an issue that should be brought up with any team, a big trade like that. However, I don't think Tampa Bay is ready for a Montreal Canadian team who really wants it. I think they really... I mean, everyone really wants it, but I think the Canadians have like a chip on their shoulder.
Well, in Montreal, you don't produce in Montreal. That's a big no-no. Montreal, I mean, they're crazy, those fans. So, I mean, they have pressure on them every year. I can't imagine what it was like 2 years ago when they were the worst team in the conference.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it's like.
Well, you know what, to come back, like, that's what I'm saying, to come back from that, I think that they will, I think they'll overcome Tampa Bay in 6. I just, that's, you know what, I'm going to be honest, that's my gut. It's not even...
As I said, yeah, I would agree with you, because this is such an evenly matched series with talent.
All these matches are really evenly matched up. I don't see a matchup here on my bracket for the original 16. I do not see I don't see one matchup that's just like a no-brainer. Like, okay, yeah, him.
One place, though, like one stat I look at when I look at all the NHL, actually, the team, a lot of so-called experts don't tend to look at is goal differential with the team.
Right.
Tampa Bay does have a significant advantage of that, where they are a plus 25 and Montreal is a plus 11. Mm-hmm. That is a very underrated stat. I feel that's giving up goals.
It's very underrated.
That's giving up goals, and like Boston is a ridiculous plus 84. So that's talk about balance.
Yeah, you know,
that's a very underrated stat. I feel for a team in the playoffs.
Right. I agree, and you know. So I have Canadians in 6. I'm guessing you have Tampa Bay in...
Well, I don't... I mean, because I don't know if Bishop is playing. That's why. I've been looking up. Nobody knows if he's actually playing.
Right, so like, let's say right now, if you were just to decide...
I would say Montreal in 6.
Thank you.
Because I couldn't... I mean...
We can't...
You can't lead...
Even coming back from an injury, it's not going to be the same, you know?
And even with how well Lindbach has played, I mean, Carey Price was fantastic for Team Canada in the Olympics, so he's not afraid of the big moment, Carey Price, where Lindbach hasn't played in that moment.
Right.
I look at intangibles a lot when it comes to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I would agree with you, though, because this team is such evenly matched, but then a lot of what it would come down to is goaltending, where Montreal would have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I did a bracket on goaltending, this would be an entire different bracket at this point.
Yeah.
There's just too many factors. I mean, if you want just really quickly with Lundqvist and Cam Talbot, I think they play well together. Yeah, I think they complement each other well.
Talbot might not be on the team next year either.
But Talbot might not be on the team next year, so that might give Talbot either a drive if he does play one of the playoff games, if they decide to rest Lundqvist, which they should. I'm sure they will.
You think they will?
I think they might rest him one game. I think if we go up 3 games, they might put Talbot in.
You think so?
I think so.
So we're talking about Philly and New York right now, like the series.
Yeah. We'll go Philly, New York, and then we'll go to Pittsburgh, Columbus after. But I think Talbot's numbers, even though he has only played 1,200 minutes, he's won 12, lost 6. He's
been admirable in a lot of the games. Even in the losses.
100%. And he play, even like you said, in losses, he plays a great game. His save percentage is a 9.41. Obviously it's low because obviously it's high because he only got 1,200 minutes and there was only 18 games played by him. Lundqvist has 33 wins and 24 losses with a .920 save percentage. That obviously that number means greatly more than an 18-game number would. However, Lundqvist makes clutch saves, makes clutch plays, and I do not doubt that he will do well in these playoff series. However, I do think if the Rangers would go up 3 games against someone and think that the introduction to a new goalie would benefit, I think they'll give him a rest one day. Mm-hmm. I think so. Because Cam Talbot has proved himself. He's not a horrible goalie. He's a good goalie.
Right. He's a good goalie, and he might get a chance to start somewhere next year. Some team will inquire about his services. with Cam
And
Talbot.
I think with the whole Cam Talbot may not being on the team next year, I think that also kind of goes in Cam Talbot. Like, well, let me make an impression. Let me make a lasting impression. He's probably gonna have the drive to be out on that ice during playoffs.
Right. Now, the thing I wouldn't see, I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. I think they got to be up 3-0 if that does happen.
Right. I mean, I don't think
you're
they're
down
gonna,
2-1. I don't put the series in Talbot's hands,
Right.
or unless Lundqvist allows.
As much as I love Talbot, as much as I respect him as a player, I agree with you. I don't know if you put the series in his hands.
I think Henrik Lundqvist is that guy, though. Like, yes, he's not been to a Stanley Cup yet. Yes, he hasn't won anything in the league.
That doesn't matter.
He stops everything. He is back. I mean, he had early season woes, but if you were going to go from the post Olympic break to now, even like from December to now, he would be in the Vezina conversation.
But you know what? I mean, I don't want to say I expected it, but Lundqvist, I feel like always has a slow start.
I think so.
I think so. You know, maybe he'd be putting up numbers. He's putting up numbers, but just the way he plays, he gets more focused as the season goes on. I don't think he's not focused in the beginning. I just think it improves and it just increases to the point where he's at his peak by playoffs.
I think one of these years he's going to go on a Jonathan Quick like run, like with what Jonathan Quick did with the Kings, or like
I can see that,
or like what John Sebastian Gary did with Anaheim in 03. Even though they lost the cup in 7, he won the Conn Smythe because he carried the team.
Yeah.
Lundqvist, I think one of these years will go on that.
And I see that coming soon.
I mean, I think it's got to come sooner or later.
He has broken so many records this year with the shutouts and Total victories. I think he's in his prime right now. I think he's got a great rest of his contract coming up, and I think that he will prove to us in the next couple of years that we can make it to the Cup because of goaltending.
He's got 8 more years, so he's got the contract.
He's got the contract. He doesn't have to be worried about being.
He's got his stability. Yeah,
he's got exactly.
But not only that is what he also does have. He's got his top 2 boys locked up in front of him for another 5+ years too, with Ryan McDonough and Dan Girardi.
Yeah.
Speaking of McDonough is cleared for Game 1,
which is great.
Yes.
I was so upset when he got hurt.
Ryan McDonough. At first it was heat of the moment. I thought maybe Tortorella. I mean, he could have been bitter and said go after him, but I don't see what he has to gain by that.
Right, exactly.
But no, Ryan McDonough has elevated his play to one of the elite defenders in the NHL.
I really believe that, and I think that Ryan McDonough has put the mark and the standard for all defensemen.
Yes.
It may be biased because I'm a Rangers fan, but I've never seen a defenseman skate like McDonough. And McDonough, to be a great defenseman, you need to know how to maneuver your body, and he can skate like no other.
He is an amazing skater. He just does everything incredibly well. Everything. He's got a great shot. He moves the puck well. One-on-one, he's tough to take down. And not only that, when guys on a breakaway, he seems to always get his stick in the right place.
Yeah, I just think he's great. Especially with forwards, they may not be on the same line. Let's talk about the top players here real quick. Mats Zuccarello, amazing season.
The little man came out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
He was on the team, but let's say I think the New York Rangers will make a mistake because they signed him to a 1-year deal. I think the New York Rangers would make a mistake to not give him a bit of a raise.
40 assists with Derek Stepan.
Derek Brassard.
I'm sorry?
Derek Brassard.
Derek Brassard has 40 assists?
Oh no, I thought you said same line. My bad.
No.
Same line.
Same assists. With Stepan with the assist, 40 assists. That's what I meant. No, I'm sorry about that.
Same line.
No.
Yeah.
But you have 40 assists with Derek Stepan, with Zuccarello with 40 assists as well. Zuccarello at the top with 59 points, Stepan right behind with 57, and then Brad Richards with 51 points. Not the biggest goal scorer, but definitely showing his leadership qualities.
Brad Richards.
Yes. I think so.
Brad Richards has definitely had a bounce back year. He's playing. I think he definitely is better on the line with Carl Hagelin. It's shown he is good with Carl Hagelin. I don't think he can play on the line well with Nash. With Brad Richards, he brings that never say die attitude. That's what I do love about him.
Yeah, Brad Richards definitely is a. I don't want to say a comeback kid, but I mean he definitely has that fire in him.
For what we're paying him, he's not putting up the points. For what we are paying him, he's not.
Yeah, but you know what? They said the same thing with him last year, but I think he's doing much better this year than he was last year.
Absolutely.
Realistically, I respect and love all the players of the Rangers. Let's talk about penalties. Derek Dorsett. Okay, 51 games. He was battling injury. He blocked a shot with a puck and just broke his leg. That's how hard the shot was hit. 128 minutes in 51 games. Now that's a bit much. I think. I think Dorsett. On the right wing, I think he needs to play smart in these series. Like I said, penalty Power play goals and power plays are going to be a big thing in this series.
I agree with you on Dorsett, but I think in this series you got to play Dan Carcillo over Dorsett. This is this is Dan Carcillo's former team, and he was when you think of Carcillo, you think of his days with the Flyers more than anything.
Right.
This is a guy. I mean, look, I think he can get under their skin.
Well, to put it into context, if Dorsett plays, I think he needs to be smart.
Right.
Let's just say it that way. And then just to fly by here, Rick Nash with 26 goals.
Missing 17 games too.
He's missing 17 games, but I'm going to be honest, his shot percentage is only 10%. Well, I think it could be higher.
To be fair with Nash, though, sometimes it seems like he is the only guy who shoots the puck. He's willing to shoot the puck.
58 shots, but you also have to understand that Stepan has 199. On top of that, with one more shot, is Brad Richards with 259.
Yeah, I think when you say Stepan, like Stepan's game, though, like the offense revolves. You could watch it. Derek Stepan's job is to kind of get the puck to Rick Nash.
And so is, if you want to talk about Kreider.
Yeah.
Kreider's a big provider for Nash. They work well, great.
It looks like Kreider won't be around for the series, though.
I am very upset about that.
This is where you need Marty St. Louis to come up, though, and get him. Why we gave up so much for him.
Right.
We gave up our captain and 2 draft picks, including a first rounder, for him. This is where you get this guy. And he's
I completely agree. I mean, Kreider was the first jersey I ever got for the Rangers.
Oh.
I never really had the cash.
Oh.
But I think Kreider is phenomenal, even though he's battling injury right now. Is his wrist?
It is his wrist. He's still. AV said he is still out indefinitely.
Right. So I mean, let's go to the pick. I mean, I know we've been talking about the Rangers a lot. Let's bring it over to the Flyers just real quick. Of course, Claude Giroux with
Giroux. Yeah.
Giroux. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can't speak today. Claude Giroux, just amazing.
He had probably one of the worst starts I've ever seen for a star player this year. That single-handedly cost him a spot on Team Canada, it seemed like. But once I heard he got snubbed of that, he said apparently like his teammates said he had a fire lit within him.
Oh yeah,
and he has been playing unreal.
I totally agree, and
he's incredibly skilled.
Yeah, we also have Wayne Simmons with the goal leader for the Flyers with 29 goals.
Wayne Simmons is a guy that I hate to play against.
Right.
He's
deadly.
Everything. He's big. He's fast. He's talented. He's in your face. He scores goals from in the net. He's got a good shot.
But here's the other thing that might be the downfall for the Flyers, and I've been stressing this a lot this program. 106 penalty minutes.
Yes. That maybe he does not. I don't believe he kills penalties for them.
I don't think so either.
I do not believe. I know Giroux, Reed, and Couturier. I know definitely kill penalties. Cavalier, I believe, is one of their penalty killers.
Right. I mean, let's Steve Mason.
He's hurt right now.
He's hurt. And that the loss of Steve Mason. And if you put it all together with top to bottom with these stats, if Wayne Simmons starts getting penalty minutes, or if Hartnell. He's got 103 in 78 games. If they start getting penalty minutes, the Rangers have, of course, struggled with their power plays a little bit.
So they dropped from like 8th to, I believe, now they're 15th in the league.
Right.
Power play percentage.
They need to take advantage of that.
Yes. That's where I think you insert Dan Carcillo lineup, because if you remember the last time the Rangers
I agree with that.
Played at Madison Square Garden, Dan Carcillo was getting under their skin really well.
Yeah.
They may be really professionals this time, and like they may not, but I think if you want to try and if you want to get these guys in the penalty box, you get Dan Carcillo.
100%. So in the pick, I got the Rangers beating the Flyers in 6.
I would say in 7. See,
7? You think it's going to go all 7?
Why I go all 7? Because what the Flyers do have advantage on the Rangers is size, and they got forward.
I'll give you that.
They have a lot of forward depth.
Yes.
What I think it's going to come down to is the Rangers' defense is a lot better than the Flyers. That being said, I think Ryan McDonough won't. I mean, and Dan Girardi, they're going to be in Claude Giroux. They have to be in Claude Giroux, Ryan McDonough and Dan Girardi. But not only that, like with how good their depth is, I mean, Cavalier is not the same player as he used to be.
I mean, you can say that a lot about a lot of players. I mean, if you wanna go that way, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. I think when even if he's not the player he used to be, once playoffs hit, it's like a totally different animal.
Yes.
People wake up. Like you can maybe not produce the way you used to, but I'm a firm believer is once you hit that playoff run, it's like, all right, it's on now. Like we can't mess up. Like there's no excuses.
I agree. I absolutely.
So I really don't think it's going to be a problem.
I think, yeah.
I just think that with especially with Lane Vigneault's coaching style, I think that their defense is going to play a big role in defense and offense.
I definitely could see that. Just the thing is that these guys, when these guys can score, man, when these guys are scoring, they're right there with everybody.
Hot streak.
They are right there. They can score with anybody when they are scoring. That's one thing I see. I think in this series, this is a team that has no problem putting the puck in the net.
No,
the Philadelphia Flyers.
I mean, that could be said about every. I mean, you look at all these teams. They, like I said, this is such a hard bracket this year.
But what I like about, look, I don't like the Flyers. What I do like about them is what they have. They do have the balance. They have the guys like Couture who can play his good two-way game.
Overall, they have great team dynamics.
Claude Giroux with his skill, and then the size of Simmons and Hartnell. But then not only that, just get the flat-out skill of Jake Voracek, who's very nifty and crafty and plays great with Giroux and Hartnell on that line.
I agree.
And you do got a veteran presence in the Cavier, but unsung heroes like Matt Reed as well. I think forward depth, the Flyers do have the advantage on us. I'll say, and the Rangers. I mean, we're Rangers fans.
Yeah, so us. But I would agree. I would agree to an extent.
But what it comes down to in the playoffs is steady defense and goaltending. It's where
it's also consistency.
Where the Rangers far outweigh the Philadelphia Flyers. I believe.
I think. So we both agree on the Rangers. Let's bring it back to Pittsburgh before we go to the West, or before we take a break and then go to the West. I mean, you say Pittsburgh, and who you think? Sidney Crosby, obviously.
He's going to be the MVP. 104 points this year. Unbelievable.
Nuts. He's got 68 assists. He's got 36 goals. His shot percentage is only 13.9, but he also took 259 shots. When you get the puck to the net or to the blue, just the zone that much, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems, especially when you have Malkin and Kunitz.
Malkin, James Neal.
James Neal, right behind them, too.
Yeah, right on the power play.
You cannot underestimate this team. I know I said that about a lot of things, but we also talked about Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yes, that may be a problem.
He has not been consistent.
He good in the regular season. He had a good regular season this year. I mean, people say, "Oh, Steve Mason was great." Fleury had better numbers than Steve Mason did this year.
Right.
The only thing is, I mean, we don't know how Mason will be in the playoffs. He's only played in 4 playoff games, lost all 4 of them when he was a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Right.
But now, Marc-Andre Fleury has been so bad these last 2 playoff series. I don't know if you could trust him. That being said, with Fleury, the Islanders could score last year. I don't know if Columbus can do, maybe is as good as the Islanders were scoring, but or 2 years ago when they played the Philadelphia Flyers, who were one of the best goal-scoring teams in the league. So, a part of me are worried about Fleury, but a part of me maybe says, okay, maybe don't be too worried because the Columbus Blue Jackets are not a very experienced playoff team.
Right, I agree. I mean, and since we talk about every single team, I'll just say it. Penalty minutes, the absolute high for the team was 90 minutes and 67 games with Tanner Glass.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now as we speak.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Tanner Glass is the biggest threat. He's only got 4 goals and 9 assists. Now, yeah, you might be saying only 4 and only 9.
It doesn't kill penalties for them either.
Right, exactly.
It just doesn't kill penalties.
And I feel like if he goes into the box, it's not really going to make a difference.
These guys who kill penalties, Crosby, Malkin, UC Jokin, and these guys stay out of the box.
Exactly, and you know what? I think that is probably. I mean, UC Oakland only has 18 minutes. Yeah, 18 minutes in the box. That's phenomenal for someone who's a penalty killer.
Another guy, Brandon Sutter, kills play 26 minutes.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, I don't think there's any surefire thing about penalties. I don't think you can take advantage of the power play here with the Penguins because they just don't. The people who make the penalties. Number one, don't have a lot of minutes. I mean, 67 games, but it's Tanner Glass. No disrespect to him, I just don't feel like he is the main producer.
He's there sometimes he's there just getting the other team's face.
Yeah, he's the tough guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every team needs that, and total respect to him. And I just don't think it's a problem for the problem for the Penguins if he were to go in the box a couple times. But let's transfer to the Blue Jackets. We have Ryan Johansson with 33 goals at the top with 63 points. I'm not even going to try to say this guy's name because I know I'm going to just mess it up. With 44 assists, James
Wisniewski.
I was going to say Wisniewski, but I overthink. And then our former Ranger, Brandon Dubinsky.
Oh. Man, you know what? I finally realized what other teams got, where he got so under team's skin. When you actually play against him, I finally realized
he leads the team in penalty minutes.
He really is a weasel. He really is a little weasel.
Oh man.
But he does his job well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been good for them. But this being said, I just don't see Columbus really doing any damage to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I got Pittsburgh in 5.
I got Pittsburgh in 5 as well. I do have Pittsburgh in 5 as well.
mean,
and to just give the goalie, sorry to interrupt, just to give the goalie some sort of praise, Bobrovsky, when they played the Rangers in Columbus, the amount of grief that this goalie gave Nash,
unreal.
It got Nash so mad. We won that game.
He dropped the gloves.
He dropped the gloves
With a guy who like half his size, especially.
I have to say that Bobrovsky is not afraid to get in your face, even though he's a goalie.
Yeah.
If you're in the paint with him, he's going to get under your skin.
And Matt Zuccarello knows that all too well. He whacked him right in the back of the leg.
Exactly.
Matt Zuccarello whacked him right in the back of the leg.
I totally. You know what? That's it for the East, because if we keep going on, I'm just going to get angry.
Yeah. No, Columbus, you know what? I mean, I don't see them a matchup like offense. Pittsburgh's far and away one of the better teams in the league. Defense, that's where Pittsburgh's weak spot is, but that's Columbus's weak spot too.
Yeah, really.
His defense.
Yeah, really quickly, since we're on the East, right now for my picks, I have the Bruins versus the Canadiens, Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Rangers for round 2. I'm thinking the Rangers are coming over the Pittsburgh Penguins. I have a hunch. I just have a feeling. I think the Rangers, not just because I'm a Ranger fan, but the whole thing with Marc-Andre Fleury. And, I don't dislike our numbers against the Penguins.
You don't? See, that's the problem. See, because I agree. We agree on the East in all 4 matchups. But I would think that, because I just think Pittsburgh just seems like a bad matchup for the New York Rangers.
It's a bad matchup, and I'm not going to lie that it's going to be tough. I'm just not totally disappointed with the points. With the way that the numbers with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not totally disappointed. It could be worse.
I think it could be worse, but at the same time, I just like looking at the games. Like they just play us. They just have our number. It seems like I think that we have Philadelphia's number, but we don't have Pittsburgh's number. They have our number.
Yeah. Well, to digress, I have the Rangers beating the Penguins.
I would have the Penguins beating the Rangers in 7 games. I would. And then if it was Boston and Montreal,
I have Boston. Coming over Montreal.
Boston in 5 in that series.
Yeah, and then of course, I have the Boston Bruins against the Rangers, and I do not think the Rangers are going to be able to beat the Boston Bruins. I know it's New York versus Boston, and I'm probably saying something wrong on so many levels as a New York Rangers fan. However, I do not think the Rangers are going to be able to beat Boston Bruins.
I don't think any team of these can beat the Boston Bruins.
No, I have them going to the Stanley Cup.
I have them in the Cup Finals too. They are just a model of consistency. They just do everything well.
Yeah.
Everything, score, defend. They got Tuukka Rask, who would be my pick to win the Vezina. And they got a coach who's won it in Claude Julien. They just what you want in a team, the Boston Bruins just have it.
Yeah,
everything.
All right, so I guess we'll take a
quick break.
Just a quick break, and we'll go to the West. I guess
we'll go to the West. Then we'll do some. We'll do maybe a little some award predictions. Coaches on the hot seat, maybe. Like our friend Mr. Tortorella out in Vancouver.
He's been really famous in Calgary.
We'll be back right in a minute. This is Kevin Bartnett, Pete Consadori coming to you, WICR.
Is WICR. WICR Sports.